Hello, it's Mark here again from Green Tree Games. I'm doing another quick video for you. This is for Mansions of Madness again. Basically, on the forums, a few people have been saying that they just want a video or a bit of help as to how to set the game up, because it's an important part of the game. If you don't get it right, it all falls apart basically. And there's a few options and a few ways of doing it. So this is how I do it. So see what you think. Okay, so first of all, I'm probably going to have a game of this tomorrow. So what I'm doing is, as I'm setting the game up first tonight beforehand, because it can take about 15-20 minutes and people's eyes tend to glaze over a little bit as you're setting it all up, and it can be a bit of a stumbling block, and then when you start playing, people have got bored already. So if you do it quickly to begin with, also as the keeper, it means you can get an idea of what the plot's going to be, so you can set the scene better. So when you're reading the flavour text and whatnot, you can get the mood across better. And also when you flip a card, you know what's going to come, because if you don't know what's going to come, it can be a nightmare, because then you've got to try and react to it. So we'll start off. Now this has got spoilers in it, so if you're going to play this as a keeper, this is fine. If you're going to play this as a player, you might not know what I'm going to tell you. Okay, so we're going to start with the first mission. So there's 5 missions in the book, all told, or stories. So we'll start with the first one. So there's choices basically. The big choice you've got to make is the overall objective, the overall plot, and that's going to set the tone for the entire mission, and also the outcome, the end result. So in this first one, there's three choices. What you want to do is, as you're choosing these, read them, then go on and read the objective cards, because it all makes sense, and then you get a better understanding of what the outcome is. So for example, I think I'm going to go for option B. In his basement, Walter found a portal to an ancient city. Whilst exploring the city, he was driven mad, and his weak mind was manipulated by creatures who lived there. And if you read objective B here, what it actually means is, what the objective is you've got to take 2 sample tokens, take them to the altar, which then raises a Shoggoth, which has got to escape, and they've got to stop it from escaping. So it just gives you a good idea as to what you've got to do. Okay, so I'll choose that first, and as you're going along, so you know what you've chosen, use these handheld counters. I sort of tend to lay them all out first, so I've got a good visual idea. So I say, right, I'm going to choose 1B. So I know I've got 1B, easy peasy. So that's that one. Now the other clues, the other choices you've got to make aren't as important in a way, because what they determine is where the clues that lead to that objective are going to be. Now 1 or 2 of the players I'm playing with tomorrow, I think may have already played this, so I'm going to mix it up a bit for them. So I'm going to say garden. So his wife has been buried in the garden. I could read you the story out so you know who his wife is, but I won't. His wife's going to be buried in the garden, so we're going to go to B, so we'll get rid of A. And Walter Lynch's favourite hiding spot is the... I hope I've got focus here for you, sorry if I haven't. We'll do guest bedroom, because we did master bedroom last time. So we've got 1B, 1B, 2B, 3B. Okay, excellent. So we've done that. So now what we do is we've made those choices, and we'll run through the component setup. So I've done this already. Clue cards. Pull out all the clue cards that you've already that choose that match the choices that you've made. So the clue cards I've already prepared here. So 1B, 2B, 3B. So obviously, if you've chosen different options, there'll be different cards, but 1B, 2B, 3B is my choice. Exploration. Now this is important. You need to pull out all of the cards that it tells you to. Now the first time I played this, I cheated a little bit. I didn't look at those cards. I looked at these cards. So I put all the cards out, and then one of the events meant that somebody could get some robes if they wanted to, if they killed a certain person. But because I hadn't read this and put the robes to one side, somebody had found it just lying around on the board and already had the robes. So yeah, so pull those cards out, put them in a separate pile. What's next? Obstacles. Pull the obstacles out. Locks. Pull the locks out. Build a mythos deck. So build a deck with those, with the symbols noted there, just so that it fits the theme and the tiles of this particular mission. Keeper action cards. Self-explanatory. Claim objective cards. So we've got that already. I've put it down somewhere. Ah, it is, sorry. Okay, so yeah, get the objective card, very important. And then pull your starting threat. So obviously you do that before the game, so don't forget to do that. So I'm not doing that tonight, I'm just getting the board ready so it's ready for tomorrow. So now what we do is, so yeah, here we go. So there's my keeper action cards, there's all the exploration cards I've pulled out. Pulled out the obstacle cards, or the lock cards, sorry, the Mythos deck. So I pulled them all out, ready to rock and roll. So now all I do is I go through each room, look at what it tells me to put down and put it down. So whatever's noted first gets put down first, and you stack the rest on top. So you've got nothing of interest in a sealed door. So they encounter the sealed door first because it's on top, then nothing of interest. So if I have a look here, pick my sealed door. Sorry, doing it wrong already. Oh, I need me nothing of interest first. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to film and do it at the same time, it's not working. So nothing of interest first, but on the ceremony room. Let's put that down there. Then sealed door. Get the sealed door. Put that on top. Easy peasy. Okay. So now we'll do the next one, basement landing. Now there's two options here, 2A and 2B. Now depending on what objectives and paths you've chosen, this is going to be different. So we've chosen 2B. So 2B is lantern, then a jammed door. So find the lantern. Okay, this is in the basement landing. So lantern and a jammed door. Where's it go? Jammed door. Okay, let's put that there. Now, it's very, very, well, if you played this before, you already know, but if you haven't played this before, it's very, very clever because the way it lines all these cards up, it doesn't make a lot of sense as you put them down. But as it unfolds, and as you work your way around the clues one by one, cards that you need will come up first, and then they'll make sense when you get them later on. So if you go off and you try and explore another place, you might, oh, there's a locked door, so you've got to come back, but there is a key to unlock it. I mean, I think one example is in this mission, and again, if I spoil the story, I apologise, but I'll give you spoiler warnings. A flaming zombie appears and sets fire to rooms and things, but somewhere in here there is seeded a fire extinguisher. Okay, so that deals with the event that happens halfway through the game. So it's very clever. It's all put together. It's all structured very, very well. So what I would do, I won't do it all, but basically what I would do now is I would go through and populate all the rooms using that method. It's very simple. And just one more thing to note, that it's a little bit sort of, the logic is a little bit in reverse. When I first played this, when I was looking through all these clues, it reads as though you start at 1, and so well, logic sort of says, clue 1, so the investigators, they start off, they get a clue, you start off at clue 1, so find clue 1, then clue 2, but you don't, you start off at the higher number first. So the first clue that they're going to be finding, and it's very good for you to know when you're looking at this bit of paper here, when you're looking at those cards there, the first clue that they're going to look for is 3B. The next one's 2B. The last one's 1B, 1 being the objective. As soon as they find that, you'll flip over the objective card and it all becomes clear as to what's going on and what they're trying to do. So, when you look in here, when you see clue 2, that's going to be the second one they find. If you look for clue 3, so let's say I've picked 3B, so I'm going to find 3B, clue 3. That's going to be the first clue that they find in theory, and that will tie in. So 3B. So the clue that you would read if it was 3B is, although the house is ancient and it doesn't make a single groan, it feels like the house is holding its breath, waiting for something awful to happen. The silence is suddenly shattered by a blood-curdling scream, echoing from the direction of the laboratory. The house shakes like there's an earthquake, and dusty paintings fall off the walls. Okay, so that indicates, all right, to the laboratory. So go to the laboratory, search the operating room, silver key, clue 3. And chances are that silver key you're going to need, if we find 2B, there'll be a 2B somewhere that spawns something that needs that silver key. Can't find it. It will, trust me. Anyway, so there we go. So that's how you set it up. So what I'd do is I'd go through, I'll put all the cards on, that are seeded. I won't put the random cards on. I will do that when we set the board up. So I'll put all the seeded cards out. Then I will very, very carefully stack these bad boys up. Imagine that all the other pieces have got cards on. If you sandwich them all together like this, and then you can put them back in the box. Anyway, to rock and roll. So when you get to where you're going, and if you're playing your game, or if you whatever you do, if you're putting it away, it doesn't matter. It all goes like that, seeded and ready to rock and roll. All these cards that you haven't used that are ready to use. So your Mythos deck, your Keeper Action cards and all that. I'll bundle them all together and put them in a baggie. Put these choices in with those cards, and then I'm ready to rock and roll. It just makes it all a lot easier. So then setup time's a couple of minutes and you can just get straight into it. And you've had an overview of the adventure. You sort of know where the clues are going to be. You can read the clue cards in advance so you know what's coming. And it's just a bit easier, a bit more prepared. So I hope that's been helpful. Again, I'll put my little sign here. So if you go on to GreenTreeGames.com, there's a forum on there. If this has been helpful, let me know on the forum. If it's been rubbish, still let me know, I guess, and I'll try and do better next time. And I'll see you again. Bye bye.